King Kong spots a monster in the mist. He raises his axe, ready to rumble. But surprise, surprise, it's just a little red orangutan approaching. Kong drops his weapon, extends a friendly hand. But that cheeky orangutan takes a nip and bolts. Kong gives chase, but a bald gorilla blocks his path. Other orangutans gang up, trying to take him down. But seriously, they stand no chance against King Kong. He grabs a rock, knocks one out with a punch. The bald guy still wants a piece of the action. Kong waves his hand, sends him flying. Zuko bites back, but Kong just uses him as a punching bag. 1, 2, 3 punches, and they're all sent flying. During the scuffle, the baldy slips. Kong snags him, but the ingrate still wants to fight. Kong boots him off the cliff. Then, he grabs Zuko from the trees, slams him down. After some shock and awe, he knows better than to mess with Kong. Zuko leads the way, but danger still lurks ahead. Have you ever seen Kong go toe-to-toe with a massive sea serpent? Zuko stumbles upon this watering hole, thinking Kong could use a good gulp, but there's a devious gleam in his eyes. They're just sipping away. Out of nowhere, they feel something lurking behind them. Kong spins around, and a giant sea serpent strikes. It wraps around Kong's arm and yanks him underwater. Then, that serpent's coiled around his neck, and Kong's roaring up a storm. Zuko seizes the chance to make a run for it, but before he can even take 2 steps, a flying axe comes whizzing his way, blocking his path. And just then, the head of the sea serpent comes flying too. Turns out, Kong's already chopped its head off. Zuko doesn't dare to entertain any other thoughts now. But Kong doesn't forget to share some of that sea serpent meat with him, mixing the tough love with a little kindness. Now Zuko's completely under Kong's thumb. After a brief break, Zuko leads Kong to his neck of the woods, where they find his people being oppressed. Now, how Kong plans to help them seek revenge. Ever since Kong and Godzilla last went head-to-head, they've carved out their own territories. Godzilla's sticking around on the ground, protecting humans and taking out a few big bad monsters along the way. Godzilla vs. Scylla. Scylla's on a rampage, tearing through human cities. With a body like a spider, it's got legs for days and tentacles to match. The two sides jump right into a wild fight. Godzilla gives it a flick, sending Scylla flying for miles. Godzilla rides atop it, unleashing a blast of atomic breath that turns Scylla into a puddle of goo. Meanwhile, Kong's living it up in the hollow earth. That day, he's ambushed by a pack of wart dogs. Cornered at the edge of a cliff, Kong lets out a roar that would wake the dead. But these mutts ain't backing down, trying to attack again. So Kong grabs one and roars as he tears it to shreds, successfully driving them back. Taking a breather, Kong discovers a rotten tooth. Toothache ain't no joke, so he heads back up to the surface for help. Luckily, Andrews hooks him up with Trapper, sedating him. Trapper pilots a spaceship down from the sky, loops a rope around the decayed tooth, and as the spaceship takes off, so does the tooth. Then, he fits Kong with shiny new metal teeth. Godzilla is on the brink of absorbing nuclear energy. It touches down at a French nuclear power plant, prompting the French government to send troops to attack, but those bullets might as well be tickles to it. Godzilla wipes them all out with one thunderous roar. It turns out, after the last King Kong and Godzilla bout, humans learned a thing or two. They set up the Monarch Planning Organization, and established an observation station in the hollow earth to monitor data in real time. That day, they notice something funky in the data. Andrews, the leader, is scratching her head, not understanding what that means. Meanwhile, Gia at school senses something odd. She's the last of the Iwi tribe, with some kind of connection to Kong. The teacher wakes Gia from her nap, and finds she's drawn weird shapes on the table and paper. These patterns match the ripples observed by Monarch. Andrews goes to see Hayes, who now specializes in the inner Earth Titans. She hopes he can figure out what these signals mean. A few days later, he finds Andrews, and tells her it's a distress call from something inside the Earth. Those weird shapes Gia drew are a distress signal from the hollow earth. Realizing something big's about to go down, Andrews takes Gia, Hayes and Trapper to the hollow earth. Have you ever laid eyes on the hollow earth? Everyone hops on a spaceship, and heads straight for the core to scope things out. Gia stumbles upon a forgotten construction site, and discovers symbols from her clan. She leads the crew forward. As they push through, they come across a shifting net, and Gia tears a gap, revealing scenes from her dreams. The crew keeps exploring, but suddenly they're surrounded by the Iwi tribe. Led by a formidable woman, they're guided into a cave, where a colossal quartz crystal structure looms. That might just be their power source. Andrews looks up, noticing several surface passages that went unnoticed. They present Gia to the tribe's leader, who communicates telepathically like the Trisolarans. The leader is convinced Gia and her crew are harmless, so he unveils the history of the inner and surface worlds. Now, the hollow earth falls under the tyrannical rule of Scar King. Scar is hellbent on conquering the surface, recruiting an army of orangutans for his war. After the conflict, Scar was imprisoned in the Land of Fire. There, he also subjugated an ancient titan. Have you ever seen a monster that spits out ice? It can actually go head-to-head with Godzilla. It's called Shimo, and it's under Scar King's control. By now, Kong has made it to the land of fire, watching his own people being oppressed. With one punch, Kong sends the leader flying. This catches Scar King's attention. He emerges from the darkness, and all the other orangutans bow their heads. Scar King opens up Kong's mouth, checking out his metal teeth. Those little things are kinda fancy. As Scar approaches, ready to take action against Zuko, the old gorilla appears just in time to block him. The moment Scar turns around, he kicks the old gorilla into the scorching hot lava. It's just downright cruel. Seeing this, Kong gets furious. King Kong is going head-to-head with Scar King. Scar King brandishes his bone whip, but King Kong isn't about to back down. He grabs an axe from the ground and prepares for battle. King Kong catches the bone whip, but ends up with a cut palm as a result. Swinging the axe at Scar King, Kong aims to strike, but Scar King dodges, and uses the bone whip to disarm King Kong. Scar King then grabs him by the throat, but Kong keeps roaring. The surrounding people are all cheering for Scar King, gathering his strength. King Kong delivers a powerful over-the-shoulder throw, sending Scar King crashing to the ground. It's sheer brute strength, and Scar King is outmatched. But Scar King has one last strongest backup, Shimo. Shimo unleashes a freezing breath, and King Kong tries to defend himself with the axe. However, his arm gets partially frozen. Shimo isn't backing down, but just in time, Zuko points out a hole. Kong immediately dashes inside, narrowly escaping Shimo's attack. The others follow, and Kong's quick reflexes help him dodge the trap. But the guys behind him aren't so lucky. They all tumble into a massive pit. Kong finally escapes danger. Under the leadership of Zuko, he arrives at the tribe where the Iwi reside, seeking their assistance. Did you know Godzilla's dorsal fins are pink now? Turns out, Kong's got some serious muscle tissue damage, so Trapper hooks him up with a mechanical gauntlet to fix him up. He looks even tougher now. Godzilla's up in the Arctic Ocean, tracking down Tiamat, looking to energy up some more. Godzilla is holding his own underwater too, even though Tiamat's circling him. Once Godzilla unleashes his atomic breath, there's only Tiamat's carcass left on the surface. After absorbing its energy, Godzilla undergoes a mutation, and his dorsal fins turn pink. With pink gear like that, he packs an even bigger punch now. Anyone daring to challenge Godzilla might just be asking for a beating. When Zuko spots Scar King heading his way with Shimo, he immediately gives King Kong a heads up. Kong's got no choice but to head over to get Godzilla's help. He teleports to Egypt via the portal. Godzilla is squaring off against King Kong. King Kong ain't looking for a fight, but Godzilla pays no mind to Kong's signals, and then charges ahead. The pyramid gets wrecked in the process, leaving Kong with no choice but to step up to the plate. He uses his mechanical arm to land a solid blow on Godzilla, sending it flying. Then, it's a barrage of punches. King Kong grabs Godzilla's tail, attempting to drag it away. Meanwhile, Godzilla's back starts changing color. Out comes the atomic breath, forcing even King Kong to retreat. In the mist, Godzilla pins Kong underfoot. Just as it's about to unleash another atomic blast, a mysterious force sends Godzilla flying. It turns out to be Mothra, the queen of monsters. Following the prophecy, Gia ascends the platform and awakens the slumbering Mothra. That's when Godzilla realizes that Kong has come seeking help. Shimo and Scar are squaring off against King Kong and Godzilla, with Zuko and Mothra joining the fray. It's go time. Mothra's busy taking out Scar King's minions, while Scar King himself goes a mano with King Kong. It's freezing breath versus atomic breath, and they're duking it out tooth and nail. Whenever Kong gets swarmed by those little pests, Zuko swoops in like the cavalry, sending them packing. But Scar King's itching to escape to the surface. Kong ain't giving it a chance, so he's hot on its heels, heading topside. This time, the unlucky city is Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. The sea gets frozen solid in a blink, and Scar King lets out a roar at the folks below, driving them scrambling for the shore to save their hides. Scar King's got Shimo under his control, blasting frozen breath towards the shore, turning buildings into icy rubble in seconds. But Scar King's arrogance earns him a knuckle sandwich from Kong. He spits out his busted teeth, while Kong flashes his shiny metal chompers, and Godzilla crashes the party. The two titans go head to head. It's a nail-biting battle with no clear winner. It's the ultimate showdown in history. Vicious Scar King versus Hero Kong. Scar King grabs a skyscraper at random, and hurls it at Kong. Kong's mechanical arm springs into action, but gets bitten by Shimo sneaking up from behind. Forced to become a floor sweeper in an instant, the building crumbles into rubble. Shimo's freezing breath fires off again. Kong tries to block with his mechanical arm, but ends up on the losing side. At the critical moment, Godzilla's atomic breath is fully charged. Now's the moment. He chomps down on Scar King's bone whip, sending him flying for hundreds of miles. The bone whip snaps in half, leaving only a crystal stone behind. Godzilla aims his atomic breath at Shimo, successfully rescuing King Kong. Scar King tries to control Shimo with the crystal stone, but at the last minute, Zuko shows up with Kong's axe, chopping the crystal stone in one clean strike. Shimo regains its senses. Kong tosses Scar King aside, while Godzilla plays his part perfectly, whipping him away with a flick of his tail. Scar King is completely at Kong's mercy, and they can toy with him as they please. Shimo aims his frozen breath at Scar King. In just a few seconds, he turns into an ice sculpture. King Kong then smashes Scar King viciously into the ground, shattering him into countless pieces of ice. And just like that, Scar King is completely taken care of. Now, everything's back on track. Godzilla heads back to the Colosseum to catch some Z's, while King Kong takes Shimo back to Scar King's old stomping grounds. No more oppression for his people. So, which monster gets your vote? If it's King Kong, hit 111. If it's Godzilla, hit 222. And if it's Shimo, hit 333. This flick's titled Godzilla vs. Kong 2: The New Empire. It's a solid watch, so I recommend checking out the original. Thanks for the likes and subs. Catch you next time. Bye.